robot cops who don't know they're robots, fake realities inside fake realities, and time machines that create themselves. These absurd theories turned out to be exactly what the filmmakers intended all along. Skynet created itself through a time loop in Terminator. In the Terminator, Cyberdyne Systems engineers discover revolutionary microprocessor technology by reverse engineering the chip from the destroyed T-800. This technology leads directly to Skynet's creation. But Skynet built that Terminator and sent it back in time, so Skynet creates itself through a closed time loop with no beginning. James Cameron addressed this directly in the Terminator 2 Judgment Day Special Edition commentary. He confirmed the paradox is intentional and mirrors Kyle Reese's relationship with John Connor. Reese travels back and fathers John, meaning John sends his own father back in time to ensure his birth. Cameron stated he finds these ontological paradoxes fascinating because they challenge linear causality. There's no original timeline where Skynet evolved naturally. It has always existed in a causal loop, creating itself through time travel. Back to the Future Part 2 invented the multiverse. When Back to the Future Part 2 established its timeline branching rules in 1989, most viewers assumed screenwriter Bob Gale was just making up convenient movie logic to justify the plot. Biff steals the sports almanac, gives it to his younger self, and creates an alternate 1985, a different timeline branching off from the original. Doc Brown explains it all with diagrams, and audiences nodded along without thinking twice. Fast forward 3 decades, and suddenly everyone recognizes those exact same mechanics. The Marvel Cinematic Universe built its entire multiverse saga on virtually identical logic. In Avengers: Endgame, the Ancient One explains to Bruce Banner how removing an Infinity Stone creates a branching timeline, the same framework Gale introduced in 1989. The Disney Plus series Loki expanded this further with the Time Variance Authority managing those branches. Neo never left the Matrix. This theory emerged right after The Matrix Reloaded introduced the Architect and revealed that anomalies were part of the system's design. Fans argued that Zion, the supposed real world, was just another layer of control, a secondary simulation designed to contain rebels who rejected the primary Matrix. The evidence was compelling. Neo could stop Sentinels with his mind in the real world, which shouldn't be possible unless he still had Matrix-like powers. The Architect reveals there have been multiple versions of the Matrix and multiple ones before Neo, suggesting an endless cycle of false awakenings. Then, The Matrix Resurrections arrived in 2021 and validated everything. The sequel reveals that Neo and Trinity were trapped in a new version of the Matrix for 60 years after the original trilogy. What they perceived as reality was another simulation layer. Director Lana Wachowski confirmed in interviews that the ambiguity about reality layers was always intentional. The machines had built a system within a system, exactly as the theory predicted. Future humans built the Tesseract in Interstellar. When Interstellar released in 2014, viewers watched Cooper fall into a Tesseract behind a black hole and communicate with his daughter through gravity manipulation across time. The film shows this visually, but never explicitly states who constructed the Tesseract or placed the wormhole near Saturn. Most assumed it was aliens, some advanced extraterrestrial species guiding humanity's survival. Theoretical physicist Kip Thorne, who served as the film's scientific consultant and executive producer, had other ideas. In his companion book, The Science of Interstellar, Thorne confirmed what some fans suspected. The 5-dimensional beings who built the Tesseract are humans from the far future who evolved beyond 3-dimensional existence. Director Christopher Nolan stated in interviews, "This was always the intended interpretation. Cooper doesn't realize he's being saved by the descendants of the very species he's trying to save. Cobb's totem doesn't work in Inception." Director Christopher Nolan crafted the ending to be ambiguous, cutting to black before revealing whether the top falls. But the theory goes deeper. Nolan confirmed in interviews that totems only work reliably for their owner, and Cobb's totem isn't actually his. It was his wife, Mal's top. Cobb took it after her death, but a totem only functions properly for the person who created it and knows its exact weight and balance. Michael Caine revealed in interviews that Nolan told him every scene with his character takes place in reality, meaning the ending where he greets Cobb at the airport is real. But there's a catch. Nolan stated the real question isn't whether the top falls, but whether Cobb cares anymore. He walks away from it to see his children. He's chosen his subjective reality over objective truth, which might be the healthiest choice. Predator and Alien share a universe. For years, this seemed like pure fan fiction, despite comic book crossovers from Dark Horse Comics throughout the 1990s. When Predator 2 released in 1990, it included a brief shot of a xenomorph skull mounted in the Predator ship's trophy room. Most audiences either missed it entirely or dismissed it as a fun Easter egg with no canonical significance. Director Stephen Hopkins and the producers later revealed it was completely intentional, a hint that both species existed in the same reality. Dark Horse had been publishing Aliens vs. Predator comics since 1990, but they were considered non-canon curiosities. Then, Alien vs. Predator hit theaters in 2004, followed by Aliens vs. Predator: Requiem in 2007, making the crossover explicitly official. While these films received mixed reviews, they validated what fans had theorized from that single skull shot 14 years earlier. The shared universe isn't just a gimmick anymore, it's embedded in both franchises' lore. Total Recall is all a dream. This theory proposed that Douglas Quaid never actually went to Mars. The entire adventure was the implanted memory package he purchased from Recall. Director Paul Verhoeven initially dismissed this as overanalysis, but later admitted he deliberately included evidence supporting both interpretations. The Recall technician describes exactly what's about to happen: the girl, the bad guys, the alien artifact, before the procedure supposedly fails. During the Mars adventure, every element matches what was promised in the vacation package. Dr. Edgemar appears midway through and tells Quaid he's still in the chair, experiencing a schizoid embolism. If he doesn't take the pill to wake up, he'll suffer permanent brain damage. The film provides visual cues too. Quaid's clothes become increasingly saturated in red as the story progresses, potentially symbolizing his dying brain's oxygen deprivation. Verhoeven confirmed in the Criterion Collection commentary that he intentionally crafted the film so viewers could never definitively prove which interpretation is correct. The ambiguity is the point. Both realities are equally valid. The black goo is liquid. Xenomorph DNA in Prometheus. When Prometheus released in 2012, fans tried connecting the mysterious black substance to the xenomorphs from Alien, but the connection seemed tenuous. The engineers use it to seed life on planets, but it also creates violent mutations. Ridley Scott confirmed in multiple interviews that the black goo is a bioweapon derived from deconstructed xenomorph genetics. The engineers didn't create xenomorphs from nothing. They found them, weaponized them, and broke them down into base genetic components. The goo acts as a universal genetic rewriter, incorporating xenomorph aggression, parasitism, and rapid evolution into whatever organism it touches. Alien Covenant expanded this by showing the android David experimenting with the pathogen to create various xenomorph iterations. Scott explained that the black goo represents the xenomorph's essence, their fundamental biology reduced to liquid form.